it's a great feeling to have to represent your country, whether you're playing for New Zealand or Australia, South Africa, or Samoa. It's an honour. And having played for the All Blacks, it was a boyhood dream for me come true. It really was a dream come true. I remember 7 years old when I watched the All Blacks play for the first time, and the All Blacks were playing Scotland at Eden Park. And my father, I remember asking my dad, "Dad, had he become an All Black?" As a 7-year-old kid. And I was born in Samoa. My father schooled in New Zealand, high school here, and went back with a dream that his family would, once he started a family, get married, have a family, come to New Zealand, and so that his children could have a good education, a good opportunity in life. Education was going to be it. And as a 7-year-old, asking that question, right in that moment, I remember my dad stopped. Having asked that question, "Dad, how did he become an All Black?" My dad paused, looked at me, and then he said, "Son, you have to be brainy." And I thought, wow, okay, wow, if that's what it takes to be an All Black, that's what I'm going to be. The reality for me that moment was a dream that started in my heart as a 7-year-old, that one day I can pull that black jersey on. In my second game for Auckland, we were playing Queensland at Eden Park. And I remember looking at the program, and I looked next to all of the names in the Auckland team, and they were all Blacks. They had 30, 50, 60 tests, some of them. And I looked at the Queensland team, and I remember looking at the Queensland team, and they were full of Wallabies. And then I looked next to my name, and there was nothing. There was no New Zealand secondary schools, there was no schools, there was no New Zealand under-19s or having played for New Zealand Colts. There was nothing. And very quickly I remember looking at it, feeling like, who do I think I am? I kind of felt like a grasshopper amongst these giants in this rugby game, and I was the least of all of these people because I've got nothing that says that I should be here, that suggests that I should be here. And I remember in that moment saying to God, "God, what am I doing here?" And God began to speak to my heart. He said to me, "Son, you are more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." And as I sat there and I began to be filled with His Word, all of a sudden a whole new perspective, a whole new nature. It was the Holy Spirit reminding me, if God is in my corner, I am not in the minority, I'm in the majority. And I remember with this whole new perspective, with this whole new vigour, with God the Father reminding me again, "Son, I'm with you, I'm in your corner." I remember going out on that field with a whole new perspective. And I can recall after that game, I scored a couple of tries in that game which had people asking the question, where did this kid come from? Who is he? And I realised, even after that game, sitting down, as I look back at that game, I realised, those are the challenges of life. Often that we come up against new challenges, and we think ourselves to be grasshoppers, just like the children of Israel did before they moved into the Promised Land. But yet only two spies, was trying to convince them, no, we can take them on. And I almost took the perspective of the 10 spies that said, we're going to get hammered. But God reminded me, and He said to me, "Son, there are giants out there, but with me, you can do all things, and you can bowl them over." And that day I became a Joshua and a Caleb, running out on that field. And so those were some of the challenges for me, just understanding was, it doesn't matter how big the giants are in our lives, it doesn't matter how big the names are on a sheet of paper, God in your corner, you're never in the minority.